Greetings, fellow humans, and yes, this is me with wine because I will be doing the Alice in Chains facelift tag, which was originally created by the wonderful Joe Compton from Go Indie Now. He is the godfather of Go Indie Now. He's a great guy. I will link down. I will link the video and the channel below. By all means, check it out. If you're curious about indie things, that's the place to go. Joe puts a hell of a lot of effort into showcasing indie things. He's given me the chance to be on quite a few panels. He's interviewed me. Still have the coffee break, Joe. So we have to do that. Anyways, I'm actually working on several band tags. I did the Pearl Jam tag. I will link it down below as well. And I will be doing an Alice in Chains tag, and I will be tagging you, Joe. This is your heads up. I haven't finished it yet, and I haven't recorded it yet because I'm doing the questions. But he did the Alice in Chains Facelift tag. Facelift is their debut album. And I'm very fond of Alice in Chains for several reasons. But mainly, I do think that the best MTV Unplugged is by Alice in Chains. I think Nirvana is a very close second, or maybe better, but for different reasons. Nirvana showcased a really eclectic and really weird set list for their Unplugged, which is fantastic, and they did something very memorable. Alice in Chains took their material and somehow made it better acoustic and set a precedent where everyone has wanted to top them. From Mikey Inez's wonderful bass playing to just kick-ass drums in an acoustic set. This is not something common. To just Lane Staley, he had to power through a couple of tracks, and he did brilliantly eventually, or for the most part. And then a couple of tracks, he had issues, but still, it was their first show in like 3 years, something like that. But Alice in Chains is a very special band to me, and although I did hurt when Kurt Cobain died, I hurt a lot more when Shannon Hoon died, lead singer for Blind Melon, and when Lane Staley died. I'll talk about Blind Melon in a later video. On this occasion, I will talk about Lane Staley. To me, Lane Staley is the epitome of lost talent and of taking, whereas other people were taken from us very, very early in their lives. Lane Staley had a really grueling process with drugs until eventually he succumbed, and it's very sad. That said, I do want to clarify that I think Alice in Chains was brilliant because of the band, not just Lane. Jerry Cantrell has to be given an immense amount of credit for what Alice in Chains was and is. What was wonderful about Alice in Chains was the harmonies that Lane and Jerry did, because like the Mamas and the Papas, the beauty in Alice in Chains is the harmonies. And I always thought that out of most of the singers from the 90s, Lane was a fallen angel. And I wrote him as such in my second novel. There is a character based on him, fully based on him, called Enail. Yes, it is an anagram, and yes, I am that fond and a big a fan of Alice in Chains. And Lane specifically. As a vocalist, as a lyricist, he was very honest, but I can't say he was brilliant. As a vocalist, he was brilliant. Everyone's has been trying to imitate Lane since Lane came around. My favorite band is Pearl Jam, but you see influences of Jim Morrison, for example. I love Soundgarden. You see influences of Black Sabbath and also Led Zeppelin. With Lane and Alice in Chains as a vocalist, he was very unique and powerful, which is why I've been waffling for 5.5 minutes without answering a question. So, with wine in hand, let's get into the Alice in Chains facelift tag. This is gonna be one question per track in the album. The album has 12 tracks, so 12 questions. Question number one: We Die Young. Name an artist you love that died way too young. I will actually mention two. I already mentioned Shannon Hoon, and I will go into it. Um, for me, it hurt a lot more when Shannon died than when Kurt died because when I read Shannon's lyrics, it was beautiful, and I could identify with it so much. Songs like Sleepy House, Change, even No Rain, they're beautiful lyrics. And he's the type of guy that I would have liked to have met. He's that type of guy. Uh, out of all the music I listen to, he is probably one of my five favorite lyricists, along with Eddie Vedder, along with Roger Waters, David Gilmour in their prime, along with Maynard from Tool, along with several other people. I can mention several people, but the things that they had highs and lows. I think Shannon Hoon, for the time that he was alive, he produced an immense amount of beautiful lyrics. And I do recommend that you listen to Blind Melon's self-titled album and Soup while reading the lyrics. And also, Nico is rarities and some tracks that weren't released. There are what is Soul One and Soup are just phenomenal, and I do recommend that you listen and read to those to those tracks. Even though that album is not so balanced. The Pusher is also a great track, by the way. Another artist that I love that died way too young is Heath Ledger, and I need to mention him for a couple of reasons. It took 3 attempts to finish Brokeback Mountain and basically break down whatever homophobia that I have, because most of us do have those. Oh, there's so much I can take, and luckily I've had gay friends that have been very outspoken with me. Um, when I was a teen, one Hoche, I won't say his last name, but he actually called me out because of lacking behavior, and that was the first time that I said I'm gonna stop joining the crowd because people were making fun of this guy because he was gay and whatnot, and I joined in the fun because I wanted to be part of the group, and I think that's the only time I've been part of a clique, and I got called out on it because they told me they know Hoche told me I expected more from you, and that really put me in a spot. That's one of the best conversations that I've had in my life, probably top 10 conversations, and I really value conversations. So I saw Brokeback Mountain, and it is a very powerful movie. And then when they announced that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, which is my beloved Joker, I have a long history with the Joker. And I said, "Oh, Brokeback Joker, blah 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 blah." And I said, "I have to see the movie." I didn't want to see a trailer. I didn't want to see anything. I wanted to see the movie because everyone was like, "Wow, this guy nailed it," and I'm like, "How much could he have nailed it?" Heath Ledger shut me up in such an astronomical way that it is a huge shame that he died. To take Jack Nicholson and make him look like a parlor trick on occasions. Not to say that I adore Jack Nicholson's The Joker. because that's what actually broke me into the Joker. I saw that when I was 10, and that character stuck with me for a long time, and he's still with me, and I'm actually gonna. So you know how deep this relationship with the Joker goes. This is actually my wallet, and in my wallet, and for the last 12 years, I have carried, if I can find it, and not, here we go. I have carried this card. It is well worn. I will not laminate it. I will let it decay. This will be my picture of Dorian Gray. But I have a really interesting relationship with the Joker and the Joker card for my own reasons. Heath Ledger did an amazing job. Blew me away. And then he died, which is a shame. Because we were all robbed of seeing the Joker again, of seeing different things, of seeing what else he could do, and I think he was a really, really amazing talent. Tormented, yes. Misguided, that's debatable. It was just an unfortunate series of events without being related to Lemony Snicket. It's a shame. As you can see, this is going to be a long video. Blame it on the wine. Or the long day. I've had a long day. Question number 2. Man in the Box. Name a series that trapped you from the moment you started reading or watching it. Twin Peaks. The first moment, I thought I was going to like Twin Peaks, and then I saw the first episode, and I was like, it just blew me away. It was so cool. And that's the thing, it's so cool. I can also mention Harry Potter, but I want to focus on Twin Peaks because I talked so much about Harry Potter that I want to talk about something else. Twin Peaks also revealed several things that I enjoyed exploring in my literature and what I write. There's a lot of stream of thought, dreamy sequences in Twin Peaks, and it's weird. It's beautifully weird. And I can't wait for the season to start. David Lynch in his prime, or when he nails it, is David Lynch. There's nothing that you can compare him with, and that's pretty cool. Twin Peaks is very memorable for memorable characters, memorable storylines on occasion, memorable sequences, memorable scenes, memorable dialogue. From the log lady to Bob, to Agent Cooper, and him talking to Diane, there's so much that really, really resonates. The movie was kind of hit or miss because I think it was whatever quirkiness that the series had to balance out the dark, morose thing. It was lost in the movie. The movie's very dark. And it leads up to the last days of Laura Palmer, so it's a different vibe. But that series is very, very cool. And I also got hooked on Lost. Lost was a very, very fun series for me. I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the last season, although some of the answers that I was given, I would have rather they not give me the answers. Case in point, Richard Alpert. Case in point, the ship that was in the middle of the jungle. They were like lame answers. They could have done something better if you asked me. But this is me talking from a writer's perspective and also a fan perspective because I thought it could have been cooler. Question number 3, Sea of Sorrow. Name a song, poem, book, or movie that makes you tear up every time. I'm gonna mention one of each and variations of it. Songs that make me tear up. Given to Fly is my favorite Pearl Jam song. When I listen to it live, I cry out of joy and happiness. Lippy Kids by Elbow is also a song that consistently makes me cry out of happiness. Peter Gabriel's version of Heroes for Scratch My Back, which is very symphonic, is a very important song in my life because I listen to it a lot in in the moment I decided to quit my last job. Um, I felt in a huge rut, and that was a song that was playing the last month until leading up to the day I resigned, and it's a very special song to me. David Bowie's version is empowering for different reasons. Peter Gabriel's version gave me wings and balls to make that decision and know that it was the best decision in my life at that time. I've had very good decisions, luckily, in my life. A poem that disarms me. I'll have to research that. I could actually, I could actually mention some of mine. I think the poem "The Sea" from Between the Tides is a poem that is very special to me, and it's not me wanting to. Oh God, this is my work. It is me being very honest in saying that that is a very personal poem because it's me identifying with the sea and allowing myself to be tumultuous, to be temperamental, to be great and vulnerable and wonderful and terrible at the same time. I'm human. We have emotions. We have good moments and bad moments. And that poem is very personal to me. And also, it doesn't make me tear up as much, but it is very personal from the new collection Relay of Rhymes. The Madness of Jonathan J. George is very personal. There's some verses there that cut deep, deeper than I'll admit. And luckily, it's an 800-line poem. So good luck finding out what's the verse that makes me cry. What else? A book that made me cry. I've mentioned before that the comic books, the Bloodsword and Bloodsword Dynasty, I make a point of mentioning this series a lot because I'm probably one of 3 people on BookTube and YouTube mentioning this series. The Bloodsword and Bloodsword Dynasty, when Sanglo died, and this is something that I've mentioned recently, that is an episode that is as soul-crushing as anything that I've read. Because if you read everything up to that point, and you see all that that man has sacrificed for his adopted family, because they're not even related. It's not like, this is my adopted grandfather, and he was so self-sacrificing and beautiful in that way. And to see how everything ends, it is soul-wrenching. So definitely that is there. And to mention another book that most people haven't read and you should read, Ten Yen True by Christina St. Clair and Amanda Armstrong. I'm friends with Amanda. She is a great author, a great writer. She recently did like a bio work called Project 2077, at 2077, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't read it yet. I want to read it. She is a fantastic writer and a great human. So when I read Ten Yen True, I was actually in a cafeteria, and in the ending of that book really shook me, and I cried in public because I don't care. So that movie, March of the Penguins. You can ask my wife about that. I cried like there's no tomorrow. I cried so much in that movie because I don't know, there was something in me that resonated with penguins surviving the Antarctic tundra. and weather, and seeing like two penguins, you know, being intimate before mating. I don't know. That made me cry a lot. Uh, Apart from that, most Disney movies I do cry, but I think a really good movie to mention that I cried a lot in. I'll mention a couple just to so you can understand me a bit better. When I was about 8 or 9, I saw Full Metal Jacket, and the bathroom scene. I'm not gonna offer spoilers. That broke me, and I was crying, and my older brother came to console me. One of the few times that my older brother came to console me. It was interesting and nice to have him there. He's been there on a couple of key moments. It's a very strong scene, that bathroom scene, um, and I just couldn't handle it. And it's still something that I see and it shakes me. And finally, Big Fish. Big Fish really, 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 really hit me hard. My dad had recently passed away. I was breaking up of a past relationship. I was on a date with uh, someone that I was trying to impress, and I took them to the movies to see Big Fish, and I couldn't stop crying. Uh, there's brownie points, and then there's that point where you cross from brownie points to embarrassing yourself, and I crossed it like like full leap. It is what it is. Question number 4. Bleed the Freak. Name a book or movie that you quote way too much. Harry Potter, Dune, and Big Trouble in Little China. All these things are part of my DNA. They're embedded. Every time I feel a bit bad or sickly, I watch Big Trouble in Little China. I haven't watched it in a while. I should watch it again. I love that movie. And when, what Jack Burton always says. So, yeah. Question number 5. I can't remember. Name the book or movie or band you always try to tell somebody about, but you always forget the name or get it mixed up with something else. Uh, I don't know. When I want to tell someone about something regularly, I remember, so that's cool. So I can't think of something that I can't remember. No, can't remember. I can't remember. So I'll leave that as a hanging chat of an answer. Question number 6. Love, hate, love. Name a book, movie, album, band that you love that everyone else hates. Um, I think I would have to go to one of my guilty pleasures, but I think that Jim Cotta. People say it's a piece of crap, but they love it. Uh, I don't know. I don't think I have anything that really strays from the crowd that much. Um, because for someone else to hate it and for me to love it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I have one like that. Because most of the things I love, and I have such a wide array of interests that yeah, eventually I'm gonna find someone. And I talk to so many people that eventually I'm gonna find someone that enjoys it. Question number 7. It ain't like that. Name a book, movie, poem, song that everyone always gets wrong when they talk to you about it. I think pretty much any poem that people want to interpret, they're gonna get wrong. Um, Today, actually, a coworker asked me about a poem, and that's the thing. I hate a poem I wrote in Captured Moments in that series and in that collection. There's a minute poem called Arrow. It was like, what were you going for there? And I'm like, I hate doing that because to me, lyrics and songs and poetry is not property of the writer necessarily. It is open to interpretation. So I don't know. I don't know because most of the time people think something and it's something else, and it if you ask the creator, it's going to be something different. So pretty much everyone's wrong, but everyone's right because in my case, when I publish words, as soon as that is a physical object that someone else can grab, it's our words. It's not my words. So I'll leave it at that. That's like the third ambiguous answer. Let's hope that the next one can be something more firm and solid. Question number 8. Sunshine. Name your feel-good book, album, or movie. Feel-good album is Elbow's Build a Rocket Boys. It's actually the album that I was listening to in my middle grade novel, codenamed The Boy Who Dreams About Flying. I swear I'm going to release that, and I swear I'm going to release the title of that. But there's just a couple of things that I have to deal with first. But Build a Rocket Boys is that album that makes me smile consistently. It is such a beautiful album and so happy. And Elbow in general and their latest work, they have feel-good songs, really, really deep feel-good songs. Not like, oh my god, work, work, work. No, not that crap. Songs with substance. Their latest album, Little Fictions, has so many great tracks that make me smile so much. It's All Disco is a perfect one. It's all Magnificent, She Says, is another track like that. So yeah. Question number 9. Put you down. Name the book you can't put down or the movie you can't stop watching even though you should. Right now I'm reading American Gods. It's good. But Harry Potter. I know it's a crutch of an answer, but Harry Potter. The last 3 books I read in less than 2 days, and that means that I didn't sleep when I had to go to work. It's crazy, but it is what it is. And I read for like 5 and 6 hours straight, and I finished it, and it was awesome. So yeah. Question number 10. Confusion. Name the book, movie, or album you just don't get. I think I love David Lynch, but Eraserhead is pretty hard to understand, and so is Lost Highway. It's just mood pieces that you just have to accept as what they are, and there are things that are like that. So, yeah. Question number 11. I know something about you. Name a book, movie, or album you have an obsessive insider info kind of love with. I think No Code by Pearl Jam. And the insider info is that pretty much reflects my philosophy of life. If you want to get to know me, listen to that album and read the lyrics. Question number 12. The real thing. Name the book, movie, or album that really defines you or changed you in such a profound manner. I already said No Code, but something that really defines me. I think The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. I mention it often, but it broke me in the best way possible to unlock me and dreams, and just to let go of my creativity and just embrace it for however mad it is. And that's it. So who do I tag? I tag Rachel Householder. I tag That Bookie. I tag That's Kim, or Kim Writer Princess. I'm not sure what she's going about these days. And I tag Richard Reeds. I tag Peter Clark, the writer. And I'll leave it at that. So, yeah, till next time, peace, love, and Mikey Rolls.